Hey, what's up, America? Welcome to 5 Stupid Questions with America's sweetheart, Eric Ryan. I'm America's sweetheart, Eric Ryan, and I don't have babysitting today because it's Patriots Day, some sort of fake holiday we made up for the marathon, I assume. Anyway, this week's guest is Molly Ruland. She's the founder and CEO of Heartcast Media. And Heartcast Media is a full-service podcast production studio. The question I ask Molly today is, if she was trapped on a deserted island and she could bring the complete catalogs of 5 different musical bands / artists to listen to for all of eternity, who would they be and why? And this is what I'm going to do moving forward for my millions of viewers. You know how in the last question of Wheel of Fortune, they give you R, S, T, L, N, and E because they're so popular and everybody would choose them? Well, what I'm going to do for this island...
Don't hold me, I could bounce.
You're going to fall. I'm going to give the island 3 bands that everybody gets because they come up so often that I've run out of things to say about them. Everyone now moving forward gets the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, and Prince. They're objectively great bands. Unbelievable. I just have nothing left to say about them, so everyone gets them. It's going to be like somebody left one of those books full of CDs that we used to carry around in the cars in the 90s. Remember those? All the Beatles, all Zeppelin, all Prince. Plus your 5 bands. It's going to be great. Anyway, please enjoy this episode. I know I will. I'm in it. Cut. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, listen, no problem. Why does everybody do the same intro to every show? Thanks for being here. Oh, God. All right, ready? These are the first questions. Well, the first question. You're trapped on a desert island. You get to bring the complete catalogs of 5 musical bands / artists to listen to for eternity. Who are they? You ready? I got your answers right here.
Okay, good. I don't have to look them up. Okay.
No, number 1, a band I'd never heard of before, and I don't know if I should. Does this make me uncultured? Midnight, a reggae band formed in 1989. Why Midnight, Molly?
It's very like meditative music. It's super chill. It's roots reggae. There's a lot of good messaging in there, and it's just really easy to listen to on repeat. And reggae has like a very circular kind of a rhythm, the pocket, if you will. And so I just find that Midnight is like, I could have it playing all day, every day in the background and never get tired of it.
Interesting. So you said roots reggae, which comes up in their Wikipedia page. I'd never heard the term roots reggae. Does that just mean like sort of early reggae?
No, well, I think on some level, yes, but like roots versus like dance hall, right? Like Buju Banton is like a whole different vibe than like Bob Marley, which is like, oh, what I feel. It's like a very different, like white people reggae. That's what
white people reggae. Yeah, my brothers once when they were 10, they told me they're like, "Oh, we're getting into reggae." I was like, "Oh, really? Like who?" They go, 311. I was like, "Yes, like, classic reggae band, 311." So this got me thinking about reggae in general and how old it is and where it came from. So I looked this up. Reggae started in the 60s, where like most awesome music started. And then I started thinking about why, and then I kind of answered my own question. I think the advent of paper was big because pre-paper, all you did is tell stories to other people. And then you'd forget them and you'd add some shit. As soon as you had paper, you could write shit down and then other people could read your thoughts 100, 200, 1,000, 5,000 years from now. Recording music changed everything. Like if there was music being played in Jamaica, there was no way a dude in Virginia could listen to it, before the advent of electronic recording devices. Then what you have is like, all right, in the early days, you got to catch up. And then I think the 50s, 60s, and 70s happened and everything mushed together. Like they said, reggae was heavily influenced by the blues and jazz. And like now you go, oh, okay. But like, if you don't know anything about reggae, like, oh, they've been playing that in Jamaica for the last 2,000 years. No, it's that time and space, the 50s, 60s, and 70s, where everybody was hearing everybody else's shit and then made that shit better. It's incredible. Well, this plays into the second band because I think this has a lot to do with it too. Zeppelin took the blues, and listen, I'm a huge blues fan. They made that shit better. In some ways, and I don't want to insult the blues, but God damn it, man. Led Zeppelin is the greatest rock and roll band of all time.
I knew that's why we're friends, because honestly, I feel that way too. And at one point when it actually mattered, I had every Zeppelin track ever produced, even the unreleased ones, like physical copies of them. And now you can just like get it on Spotify or whatever. But in the 90s, and I read like the book, Stairway to Heaven, I was really into, I don't even know why, but I mean, it's just great music. I mean, come on. Black Dog.
They appear on this list a lot, and I think that's a testament to how great they are. And it doesn't matter who, like, the Zeppelin appears on. It transcends, I think, race, religion, ethnicity. It's one of the great things that brings us together. I saw a Led Zeppelin tribute band, and they were fucking amazing. Like, for 2 hours, you know every song. You can't sit down. It's a wall of sound. It's goddamn amazing.
They were amazing. And John Bonham was such a character. Like, I loved reading about him. He would frequently he was a maniac. So whenever they would travel and they had hotel rooms, they had a whole separate hotel room for his drum kit. And after they played these 4-hour-long stadium shows, he would then go in his room and play until his hands bled. Like, he was a special dude, you know? And he kind of hated all of it. He would literally take shits in like the groupie shoes, and they would go to put it on or be like, you know,
this
like
is one of those things like, yeah, to be great, you need to be a little bit of a psychopath. It's not always, it's not always the same kind of psychopath. Not everybody's taking shits in groupie shoes and playing till 3 a.m. But you need a little fucking crazy in you. And I think that's why I'll never be great. Here's the other thing that fascinates me about Led Zeppelin. So there's this famous snippet of an interview where Frank Zappa is talking about what it must have been like in England when Jimi Hendrix went over and played. He says something about it must have been like seeing color for the first time. I would argue that same idea goes with the Led Zeppelin, because Led Zeppelin 1 dropped in 1969. In 1970, the #1 album in the world was Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon & Garfunkel. Simon & Garfunkel fucking suck. Right. I'm so happy that Zeppelin came in, I think, and shit, like, enough of this fucking folksy New York, California bullshit. Yes, like, this is music. And I think about that in juxtaposition, my father. The first shit I was into as a kid was 80s hair metal. My father fucking hated 80s hair metal. So when grunge came, he was like, thank God. Like, it just it killed hair metal. I hope, and I wasn't alive back then, I hope that when Zeppelin came, it just fucking killed the James Taylors of the world. Like, enough of this shit. It's terrible. Number 3, we're going back to reggae.
I mean, big shock there, huh?
Never heard of the fella. No, he's this isn't, again, one of those things where reggae is invented in the 60s. And then this is the guy. He represents an entire genre, really an entire country.
I mean, right now, somewhere in the world, someone is listening to a Bob Marley song for the first time, and they're like, oh my God, right now, every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, every day there's somebody else who's like mind blown. You know, the thing about Bob Marley is you can listen to a song 100 times, and on the 101st time, you hear it. You hear the lyric, and you're like, God, that was for me, you know? And if you really, I mean, when you just really, I mean, he was a modern day prophet, and he was really about uplifting people, and his lyrics were very controversial.
They got shot, and then 3 days later performed. His wife was shot too, I believe, and also performed. Like, he was in the middle of a goddamn cultural and political revolution.
You know, it's because his music is so powerful and so positive, but without being club poppy. You know what I mean? Rise up, fallen fighter, rise and take your stance again. I mean, you know, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. And, I really feel like Bob Marley raised me. And I know that sounds silly, but I have a family that was like, you're good, go flourish. I'm like, I'm 7. I can't live in this world without you. But they were like, you got this. And so I listened to a lot of Bob Marley in my teenage years and early adult years. And I don't think that was a bad thing. There's a lot of really positive, deep lyrics in there. And I feel like he was kind of like a famous uncle I never met. But I really listened to his music a lot. In fact, the first company I formed, multimedia company, was One Love, massive, in 2001. And I got my logo approved, and it had to go to 56 Hope Road because the Marley family had to contest or approve me getting something named One Love trademarked. And because I had triangulated them a tiny little bit through industry contacts, they approved it, and that was like the greatest thing of my whole life was to get One Love massive trademark approved, because it meant like someone at 56 Hope Road was like, she's cool, let it through, But it really did impact who I am. I mean, that's why I own Heartcast Media. It's all, one love, one heart, one destiny. I think if we could I think we need Bob Marley's music now more than ever.
Speaking of the new kids doing new things, number 4, You know, this is her, Georgia Smith. Never heard of her, but did some research. Again, Jamaican father. I think there's a thread with much of your musical choices.
Oh, she's from Jamaica? I didn't even realize that.
Her father's from Jamaica. Her mother is English.
She's got like a heavy UK accent.
She does, but I was going to say the kids these days breaking down. So she started posting stuff on YouTube and was eventually discovered, which is, I think, kind of the path now, isn't it? Like it's less playing at CBGBs and hoping a record exec is there, and it's more posting on TikTok and YouTube.
Exactly. And she's just got a great voice, and she's really interesting looking. She's beautiful, but she's a big girl. Like she's a big girl.
So this article, so I took this picture from an article. I didn't realize what it was because I went to Google Images, and then the article was about body shaming her, and I was like, God damn, man! Like,
I know she's literally like the perfect specimen of a woman. I'm like, if I was in battle, I would want her next to me. She would mesmerize them and then kill them all. Are you kidding me? I don't know how tall she is, but I think she's 5'10", or she's a big girl, and she's absolutely stunning. And her vocal range, and I listen to YouTube a lot, and it just plays stuff for me. And I can't tell you how many times I look over and I'm like, Georgia Smith. Georgia Smith. Like, I don't know if she's doing covers or what she's doing, but like, she's got a great voice. And I thought to myself, I don't know all of her music, but if I was going to get stuck on a desert island, I wouldn't mind a few hundred songs from her, because quite frankly, everybody else I listed, I've already listened to every single song they've ever made, like at least 100 times. So I thought,
I like this that you added somebody new in there. That's good. The other, what was I going to say? Oh, she may or may not be dating Drake. I think that's a rite of passage if you're a female.
Well, he's been texting her since she was 9, I'm sure. So,
Again, another fucking creepy weirdo.
No, it's almost like every man with money turns into a rapist. I don't know. Call me crazy, but
I can't wait to get a lot of money, and I don't think I will. I have a lot of faith in myself. And the other thing I was going to say is, she's very in the Wikipedia thing. It said she's very heavily influenced by Amy Winehouse, which you can hear. I think it comes.
That would make sense because I love Amy Winehouse. Like Amy Winehouse is the only celebrity that when she died, I actually was super sad because I felt like, if I had known her in the music business, that wouldn't have happened. I would have been a better friend to her. And then I watched the documentary and I was like, God damn it, I'm right. And I was in the music business at the time. And I was like, all those fucking people failed her. God, she was so talented. Her creepy ass dad and fucked it. Don't get me started on that. But I'm not surprised because the way Georgia Smith carries herself is just like, unreal. Unreal.
Strong young woman. The only celebrity that made me really sad was Chris Farley. That was really heartbreaking. I know.
Yeah.
Funny guy. All right. I can't. Who can argue with this? Number 5. Tupac died at 25, man. That's the crazy shit about him. He accomplished so goddamn much by the age of 25. I think we forget sometimes that he was so young when he was murdered.
He was also, I consider him a modern day prophet too. I consider Jerry Garcia, Bob Marley, and Tupac modern day prophets, and people can laugh at me if they want. But Tupac's lyrics also, Brenda's got a baby. Brenda's got a baby. He's talking about teenage pregnancy and the impact a baby's going to have on the community. When was the last time you heard a rapper use the word community?
Rap. So my favorite rapper is DMX, and I think they are. They're certainly not the same, but they're the same zip code. Like DMX was quoted Nietzsche on his first album. Who the fuck? Like I think he recorded his 21 or something. Like they're very aware and smart. And the average rap song has about 5,000 more lyrics than the average rock and roll song. They're saying a lot of shit. And I've heard these days that the kids, new kids, they don't like Tupac, which I sort of understand because, like Chris Rock said about comedy, it's also true about rap. It kind of rots. You kind of have to be there when it's happening to understand what's going on socially, I think, So he raps a lot about the shit that was going on in his life. It was very true then, maybe not so true now, and not less relatable, but fuck. I mean, he's objectively one of the greatest rappers of all time.
Dude,
from a 42-year-old white guy, 43,
and exactly, and co-signed by an older white woman. So clearly, everyone should listen.
Clearly, we know what we're talking about. I love that. So when Tupacalypse Now came out, Dan Quayle, the vice president of the United States at the time, said albums like this shouldn't exist. It's always this thing. Like it comes up a lot with comedians. We're like, didn't you go too far? And Jon Stewart was like, don't politicians go too far? Like we were in the middle. Dan Quayle was the fucking vice president when we were at war. Aren't you concerned with murdering people as opposed to fucking an album?
What Tupac is saying?
Oh my God, it's so goddamn weird.